For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Hey everybody, this is not the rock star, Steve Miller, also known as Kelly's dad, and I am with my really good buddy, the Dave Loomis. And you can go ahead and say it yourself too.
The Dave Loomis.
See, and with his new microphone, doesn't he sound professional? I'll tell you, you gotta love it, and because he sounds like a million times better. He really does sound professional. And we have gone past the posting like 10 episodes. I think this episode is actually probably like their 12th or 13th episode. So 1,000 is just around the corner. And
absolutely.
We're gonna be there in no time at all. So thank you for joining us today. I picked out today's topic, which to me is kind of a near and dear tool that I use frequently with my clients. I kind of have a little bent on it, like I'm bent on everything. But what I wanted to talk about, and thankfully, the Dave Loomis agreed that he would talk about it with me, is the buyer journey. Now, this is an interesting topic to me because I thought everybody knew what this was. But over the years of working with corporations, I'm just astonished as how many companies do not really understand what the buyer journey is or how to use it, in helping a company be more successful. So, Dave, I assume that you have a lot of experience with the buyer journey.
Yes, indeed.
What is your take on it, and how do you approach it with your clients?
I really respect the buyer journey. Put it that way. I have a lot of exposure to it. We use it all the time. My clients use it all the time. Sometimes we can't stop talking about the buyer journey. And one thing we do, and I like to do, is to combine the buyer journey with the customer journey. So if you were to Google buyer journey, if you're a listener right now and go out there, you'll see that 3 typical stages come up. This is just what you'll see. And depending on who's done their SEO really well on the term buyer journey, you'll see whoever comes up. It might be HubSpot, it might be some consulting firm or something like that. But they'll talk about 3 stages: awareness, consideration, purchase. And they'll leave it at that. I like to actually include that, to take that journey, assuming that they buy, and extend it to the customer experience. And if you actually Google customer journey, you're going to see all sorts of different charts, and you could click on images in Google and see really nice charts of customer journeys with multiple steps and so forth. I like to keep it pretty simple, customer experience. So the way I like to talk about it is in 4 stages. So it would be the 3 from buyer journey and the 1 from customer. So I say awareness, consideration, purchase, experience. And a lot of people think about it sequentially, which isn't wrong. And so in their mind, they draw 4 boxes with arrows pointing from left to right to explain that. I love cycles. So, and I think that they change the way we think about things sometimes. So I like to do it almost like a clock, and going counterclockwise. So I have 4 places at 12 o'clock 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And so I put awareness, consideration, purchase, experience with arrows that go around. And then the trick is that experience goes back into awareness at some point, and to sort of complete that full cycle of the clock. And it makes you think, well, they're already a customer. They're already aware of you. How does that make sense? And to me, it makes sense just because you want to keep your customers engaged in new things that you're coming up with, and just, sort of alive with the presence of your customer experience.
Right.
And so I don't think it's wrong, because you just want to keep that cycle going, because you want retention. And so in a way, customers continually are part of even the buyer journey, not just
they are
the customer journey.
Sure they are. They, rebuying, I guess, saying it that way is all part of that, that too. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you actually sit down like I do with my clients, and we'll have those as kind of the broad, topic, so to speak, or the broad, steps. But then I would work with them on trying to fill in what exactly are those things. So like in the mapping the experiences, it's often called that. I call it, in my new book, I because we're consultants, we have to come up with our new terms. I call it charting the experience. And so when you start with like the awareness, and then and step through, I like to actually chart exactly every step along the way, and map it right out, as the mapping term is used. So like, for example, like, and the simple one that I use, the easy one that I use that everybody can understand, is going to a trade show, where you are the customer of the trade show. You're going to be an attendee at a trade show. So, you can have where the awareness might be where in the beginning, up front, where you become aware the show is going to happen, and then you register and you sign up and stuff like that. But then when I get into the charting the experience, I get into stuff like, okay, they show up at the front door of the convention center. They walk through the doors of the convention center. They go to the registration booth if they need to go there. Then they go up, and then they have to go through and onto the show floor. And now they're on the show floor. And each one of those is a step in the entire experience, all of which together, is that experience that you're talking about. Right. And even then when they're leaving and stuff like that. So you have this list of all these things that the customer is going to experience at some point or another. And then what I ask them is, okay, which of these can we influence? Which of these can we impact?
Right.
To enhance that experience that they're having. That is brilliant. We have done very similar things. And your example about the trade show makes me take it the step further, literally step further, which is stepping into your booth. They see your booth, they see your sign. They may not be aware of you before. Let's just say they're not. Now what? Now what are you going to do once they're there? Right.
What are you going to say to them? What might they say back? If they say certain things back, what does that trigger for you? Are you going to take them over to this area and tell them about X? How are you going to tell them about X?
Yep.
You're going to point to something on the wall that's a visual illustration of something. You're going to pull out an iPad and show them something. Do you have something tangible to talk about? Think through it, and you'll come up with a much better outcome.
You can really drill down into this, and that's the thing that I like about it. When I'm sitting there charting it with my clients, I'll have the flip chart up there, and we just start charting all of those things, and then we go, okay, well, what if we go deeper into that? Like they walk into the booth, like you just said, if we say, all right, this is a corporate chart, and you are an exhibitor at a trade show. Now your prospect, your customer, they're going to come and they're going to be going through all of these steps before they even get to your booth. And then when they get to your booth, now they're going to go through a series of steps with you. Okay. And what are all of these steps? And is there, and most companies think in terms of the booth experience. Okay. And
Right.
then so I say, okay, how can we impact them before the booth experience? Okay?
Yes.
Is there anything
Yes.
that we can do ahead of time to impact that, to influence them to come to the booth?
Yes, absolutely. And what about after?
And what about after? Again,
Right.
absolutely. And
Right.
and I get stupid, crazy with, like I go into, going in deep, and then branching off and saying, now here are some other things that might relate to that we could influence, right? We can
Right.
impact. And the reason why I try to do that is because I try to find those steps where the competition sucks,
Yeah.
or
Good idea.
the competition isn't even paying any attention to, and I go, okay, because here is some, here's a part of the buyer's journey to get to your booth, all right, that nobody else is paying any attention to.
Right. Right. That's great. And we haven't been to trade shows in a while, or some of the people listening might not have been to a trade show in a while, but I'll bet you have a website. I'll bet your company has a website, and we do the same thing with our websites. So we say, okay, how is this person coming to the website? How can we influence that beforehand? And then when they come in, what path will they be taking? It's almost like walking around a trade show booth. And we say, okay, if they're interested in X, what are they going to click on? What can we influence there?
Yeah.
And what can we put as a call to action? One of the very practical things that I've learned recently is something referred to as the circular sitemap. So a lot of times we think of a sitemap for a website, especially when websites first came out, as almost like a architectural tree or something like that, with categories across the top. And then, there's different sort of places you can navigate to, but each of them sort of end in a dead end. And but then the navigation is there, visible for you to, I'm going to click somewhere else. Now, what we're doing and finding a lot of success with is when they're scrolling down, because lots of the websites now have all this scrolling in it. You put the call to action in the middle of it or at the bottom, and it's not contact us, like sort of going for broke. It's learn more.
It's not request a quote. It's not request.
It takes you exactly. It takes you to a different part of the website to learn more. So you're not leaving. You're spending more time there, and then at the right time, it's request a quote. I love start the buying process.
Yeah,
I love that one, which I've seen more frequently now, and has been really successful for our clients. But all the stuff we're talking about is in the middle of awareness through consideration. You and I haven't talked. We're not talking about selling, like you have a quote and you're working the quote and trying to close it or anything like that. Certainly that's part of the buyer journey.
Sure.
Of course. But a lot of the important parts that can be overlooked are in these middle stages. And this is often referred to as nurturing. You've got somebody on the hook. You've got a lead. You are nurturing it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, you talked about how it might be circular or something like that. And actually, the way that I look at it today is that more and more of this stuff is I consider it to be molecular. So in other words, you can have a point, that there is one of the steps right that, and it might connect over here. It might connect over here, it might connect over here, it might connect back here, it might connect up this way, because they can come from multiple directions, and they can go to multiple directions. So like you said, like on the homepage, for example, if you have information, you're saying, well, we solved this situation, we solved this situation, we solved this situation. Well, those are hyperlinks. And the one that resonates the most with the person who is going through this, clicks on the hyperlink that resonates with them, and then they, boom, off they go to a page that is specific to that, point of interest.
Yes.
And,
yes.
And
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead. We're running out of time, but and we may have to make
my question is
continued. This to be continued, but yes.
Two-parter, but I do have a quick question, which and maybe this will lead into the next thing, to our next topic. But
okay.
My question to you is, have you ever, or do you think about the buyer journey separately for different personas or different
yes.
avatars, whatever
yes.
Word you want to call it, because I think that's very important to do.
All right. This is kind of funny because I was having the same conversation this morning with a client, and because they were kind of getting into this, how agencies talk, in agency speak, and
yes.
and I talk in animal speak.
Okay.
All right. In my book, I talk
hunting
about
moose.
Hunting moose. That your moose is your target. Now, so to use your example of different avatars, all right, it's different animals. So, like, let's say a moose is one of your targets, and let's say a bear is another one of your targets. Okay, in the forest. Well, moose and bear don't talk the same language. They each they have different verbiage. They have different vernacular. That's moose and bear don't eat the same thing. And so it takes a different bait to get the attention of the moose versus the attention of the bear. So if you're going to go after these, you have to create moose bait, a moose gun, a bear bait, bear gun, whatever it is, see, and that's the picture. When I talk about it like that, people kind of go, "Ooh, I get it." I get it. I have to talk to them differently. And so, yes, both of those would have their own journey. Both of them, we would have to chart, a different experience for both of them.
For moose and for bear. Great point. And then the last point I think I would make is that when you gain awareness, we are often way out of control of the time or what happens during that consideration process and when they're ready to purchase. And so one of the things that we always have to think about, I feel like you have some clever saying about this, but the customer has to be aware of us and stay aware of us and be top of mind when they're ready to purchase.
Awareness without I'm blanking on my word, but let me put it to you this way. I call it next step. Is that if they're aware, I need them to take action.
Yes.
Okay. So like the first, and next step is the way I look at it, is, okay, what is the simplest thing I can do to take them from, just being aware of me to starting to really start that relationship building process. Okay. So it might be that link that I'm talking about that takes them to another page that is talking to them specifically, because that page they go to might say, "Oh, are you a bear? Oh, cool. Yes. We're so glad that you're here because you're a bear. You are probably interested in this. And if you are, we have a white paper, and we'd love to send you this white paper. In return, and this white paper will be useful. It'll be interesting. You're gonna love it."
Yep.
Right. And so see, because leaving people at awareness to me is a mistake. I want them, the moment they really become aware of me and aware of something that I can help them, I want them to be moving to that.
Right.
Next
the best case that I like to strive for is that once they are aware, that you continually engage them such that by the time they're ready to buy, you don't even have to ask.
Nope. My joke, Kay just loves this. My joke is that when we reach that point, my line is just real simple. Press hard. The third copy is yours. And I'll say it to them online, but I mean, that's an old saying, right? But it's essentially what it is you, if you do it right. And now, and we are stopping short of talking about the sales part. But if you do it right, and you walk them through each of these steps, okay, and they are happy and they're following along and stuff like that, and then you get to the point where you're saying, doesn't this sound like the solution that you need? Press hard. The fourth copy is yours.
Love it. We'll have to talk more about this.
Yes, absolutely. And we are past due.
We are. We're over our time limit. We try to limit these things to your commute or your workout or whatever you might be doing, listening to us. And our time is up. Hopefully there's another episode for you to listen to, though, if you have a little more time.
Yeah, there will be one. And, and if you like us, please like us, please subscribe. Please tell your friends. If you have questions, you can contact us through we've got the information in the
please reach out to us.
Stuff like that. So anyway, I am not the rock star Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad, and he is
the Dave Loomis.
Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, folks. Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.